All right. Hello. Welcome, everyone, to the Alliance live show number 7. I'm your host, Ramon Azab, a.k.a. Remom with the Alliance, and we have quite a panel here for you guys tonight. Probably the largest one we've had on the show yet so far. We're going to do a couple of different things than we normally do, and we did compile all those questions last week from everybody to do an EHSE interview. And I was hoping to get that on the show for tonight, but we're going to be able to actually get that for you guys by next week. So tune in next week. I'll have a video during the week kind of giving you guys a little bit more information about that and what time to expect to tune in for that specifically if you want. So definitely looking forward to that. But just to introduce the wonderful Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes panel that we have here this evening, we're going to start off with none other than Cheeky Cutie herself, who's back from a long vacation. Cheeky, how you doing?
Woo! I'm great. I'm good, thank you. Good to be back.
Excellent. Welcome back. We also have Omega Shenron.
What's going on?
We've got good old Maurice.
Hello.
We've got McLeod.
How's it going, eh?
We've got Lotion.
Hey, y'all.
And we've got Wrath.
Hey.
Special guest tonight, we have Keyboard with us, who's going to be getting a roster review a little bit later on in the show here today. Keyboard, how you doing? All right, Keyboard actually just left the chat. Awesome. Like literally at that moment, she was probably just trying to join the chat. She probably accidentally X'd herself out, but that's okay. So I'm sure she'll be back here in a few minutes. Anyway, Dave Keyboard, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. Must have randomly hit the hang up button or something.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, Keyboard will be getting a roster review a little bit later on today, and we have Talon on the board just randomly just showed up in the chat here. Talon, welcome aboard.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Okay, so
What are we talking about?
we just started, Talon. So yeah, Talon's coming a little bit late to the party, but we're all ready to go. So first and foremost, we have some interesting stuff to discuss. We had an update this week that came out with a whole bunch of bug fixes, and there was a patch. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at those notes here and go over that first. So the update notes were for 5.9, and some of the bug fixes were Asajj Ventress's Strike Fear will now correctly remove Term Meter. Asajj Ventress's Strike Fear Dispel can no longer be evaded. So that helps Asajj Ventress a little bit. I don't know how much because she's still, in my opinion, a completely unusable character. I know Maurice will disagree with me, but that's just how I feel about it. Baze Malbus will no longer retain bonuses from Chirrut's unique ability, Indomitable Will, after Chirrut is defeated, and will reapply to Baze when Chirrut is revived. So that's actually a big deal. And it kind of happened vice versa. So same thing with Chirrut. They're not going to get the bonuses from each other when the other one has been defeated. So once you eliminate one of those characters, you're going to kind of help out with defeating that. That makes the team a little bit less viable, in my opinion. Now that doesn't make them bad. They're still a good team together. But I just think that on defense, it's going to make it a little bit easier to defeat that team than it was before. Now, first of all, do any of you guys run Chase right now?
Not yet, but I'm gearing them up.
I run them.
So have you seen a difference since the bug fix?
I haven't yet. No. They're still very effective.
All right. Now, Biggs will no longer retain bonuses from Wedge's unique ability, Red Leader, after Wedge is defeated, and will reapply to Biggs when Wedge is revived. That's actually also a big deal because that means when Wedge is done, Biggs is no longer fast and he no longer gains that offense bonus. So that's a big difference. That makes Biggs basically worthless once Wedge is no longer there. So that makes a Wedge Biggs team a lot easier to defeat because now you've always only had to get rid of Wedge really, but now even more so if you get rid of Wedge, there's really nothing left on the board for that team. The only benefit that they really have is that bonus. So I'm starting to see that they're removing these abilities when people get defeated. I'm afraid that means that they're going to eventually start removing leader bonuses when they get defeated as well, and that might be difficult to deal with, because then you're going to have it's going to change the strategy of the game significantly. If what you know, because now it seems like, you know, once a person's off the board, those abilities aren't going to last. I don't know if they're ever going to do that with leader abilities, but right now it definitely seems like it's happening to every other ability that's out there, or every other unique. But you know, then again, there are a lot more unique abilities that affect other players now than there ever were before in the game. So I understand that they want to make some adjustments. No, so Boba Fett's leader ability, Dead or Alive, will now grant turn meter from thermal detonator explosions after the first encounter. Darth Vader's Inspiring Through Fear will no longer cause extra turn meter removal on encounters past the first. So that's actually a big deal, and I want to stop right there just to talk about this. How many of you use Vader to get through your raids on the Rancor side?
I do.
Yeah,
and
I do as well.
Has this affected your ability to do that in any way?
Thankfully, I haven't found that it has. It's still fine.
Okay, so you could still solo a raid with
solo a raid. Yeah.
You know, all I got to say about this is much ado about nothing. People, you know, there's much bigger things in the game we could be fixing, but you know, people are complaining that you could solo the raid, and I'm happy about it. So
yeah, I'll say that, you know, I have definitely seen a difference where, you know, the Ranker actually gets a few turns now where he would never get turns with a full Sith team, but it still hasn't affected the end results.
Okay.
Can you guys still auto it? Like just hit auto?
Yeah,
Go?
I auto after P1, or yeah. So once P1's done, with the piggies are done, then P2 on is all auto.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, no, I was wondering that too, because that's really the main difference that I thought was happening there. Is that, I mean, as it was before, you were able to just literally press the auto button after P1 and just let it go. And now I've been hearing from a lot of people that you can't auto it anymore. It's a little bit more difficult. But if you guys are saying that you're able to do it, then
I just did yesterday. Now, having said that, you know, I have seen again more of Ranker hits again, and if you get 2 dodges in a row, again, RNG is what it is. But you know, you're going to see the Ranker hit more than you ever did before if you're used to being able to solo it. If you don't get bad RNG and you don't get a couple dodges in a row, then you're still able to solo the whole thing. Okay.
All right. Excellent. All right. Now, moving along here, the next part is that same thing with Chirrut. You know, he'll no longer gain or retain the bonuses from Baze's unique ability, Dauntless Charge, after Baze is defeated. Chirrut's ability, As the Force Wills, now correctly dispels buff immunity. Okay, so I guess before you weren't able to dispel buff immunity with Chirrut's dispel, so that works now. So Darth Maul, and this is a big one too, a lot of people have been talking about, is fixed an issue with Power of Hatred that was causing it to grant more potency than intended. So initially people were able to stick basically days on almost every character, and now that's not the case anymore. Does anybody here run a Zal lead and seen any difference with that?
Still seems pretty solid for me.
Yep.
Maybe it's not hitting all 5, maybe it's hitting 3 or 4, but still hitting hard.
Yeah, I still think I don't think it makes him any less viable, in my opinion. I mean, I think, you know, obviously it does hurt a little bit, but it's again not a big deal. People were discussing this earlier today. I was on the live show this morning with the Jedi Academy with, you know, Real Sith of Genius and you know, Warrior and you know, a bunch of you know, other YouTubers that I did the stream with this morning, and we were discussing how the Darth Maul Zeta. Somebody asked why people weren't upset about the Darth Maul Zeta and asking for their Zetas back, and you know, kind of like similar to what they did with Barriss Offee when her Zeta was kind of nerfed, and then they gave everybody their Zetas back for her. I think that this is a little bit of a different issue. I don't think that this, while I do agree that you want to know everything about a Zeta before you go ahead and make the allocation of those resources to a character, I still think that, you know, it's not as big of a nerf as, let's say, Barriss's was. So I don't think that the outcry is going to be as large, because again, I still think that even with the changes to Darth Maul Zeta, I would still reapply that Zeta right to Darth Maul again. I wouldn't like not have a Zeta Maul, you know. So
yeah, I would agree, because again with Zeros, it was a mechanic of the core of the ability that was fundamentally changed. With the Zal, you know, this I think is more of a correction than it is a a complete change of what the Zeta is. So.
Yeah, I mean, before Barris's Zeta was fixed, I mean, it was near impossible to beat a team with a Zeta Barris and like a Baze and Chirrut. I mean, they were like, you would get time. It's not that it was impossible to beat them. It was just that it was very difficult because to finish in the time that you had, especially without the +4 or ×4 speed that we have now, it was very difficult to beat the characters in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So you got to a point where like you had like, let's say Barris and, Barris, Baze, and Chirrut left, and you're trying to defeat them. And there was no, there was no way to get them or defeat them in that short period of time. So I think that this is more of just an adjustment. And again, like I said, if they gave me back my Zetas for Maul, I would just Zeta Maul again. I mean, I'd still want to have a Zeta Maul. So I don't think that this is the same thing here. They also made it where his heal, and this has nothing to do with the Zeta, but they made it where his heal, when he attacks, or when his attacks are dodged, will no longer heal him. So that was a bug that was going on. He was still healing when he attacked, and the character would dodge. So now that no longer happens. So, but that again, that has nothing to do with the Zeta. That's just Maul's ability on his basic. He heals whenever he attacks. So they shouldn't be regenerating health whenever he doesn't actually hit somebody or get an attack on somebody. So I agree with that 100%.
Clones him Remon.
What happened?
You know what the best attack is to kill him, huh?
What is it, Wrath?
Blaster bolt from 2 clicks out right in the chest. Real life.
Yeah. Another way to kill Maul is to get him to Tatooine.
It's fair.
And just have him face old Ben Kenobi. I don't want to just keep going back to this, but I am very upset about the way that happened. I know a lot of people don't care; they think it was okay because it was just a short battle. But when I saw them, I mean, the way they amped up the fight for Darth, I don't know how many of you watch Rebels, but for how long they amped up this fight between Maul and Kenobi on the show. I expected that fight to be a lot more epic than it was. I mean, it was like literally, as soon as they both took out their lightsabers, it's like, and the mood was set. There was like, the moon was like, just a little bit lit. It was like a perfect fight scene for them in the desert at night, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be sick. And then 3 seconds later, it's done, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
They're both super old at this point. I mean, they're just. It wasn't really about the action of the battle scene. It was about the pathos of these two finally coming full circle and being an epic encounter, not necessarily an action, but just the final chapter of this thing that you'd never thought you'd see until like animated shows like this came along. So
I get it, and I get the metaphor of it. I get the whole meaning of it, and I get that the ending is fitting. I'm not saying that the way they went about it is wrong. I think that they. Ultimately, I mean, maybe it's the right way to go to make it a short battle or whatever. But I just feel like, I mean, I was so amped for this episode. I mean, I was like waiting for weeks for this episode to come. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a cool fight, right? Like they're going to, I was wondering how it was going to work. I was like, oh, Kenobi's old now. Is he still going to be able to jump around and fight Maul? I mean, like, how's this going to, because Maul's still pretty spry for an older guy, So I'm like, is he going to be able to fight with his double-bladed lightsaber? I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of disappointing. I thought it was going to be a little bit more action.
You kind of felt that Darth Maul went into that fight wanting to die. That's like how he wanted to go out. So,
man, I didn't even see that episode yet. Marimon, you ruined it for me.
All right. Well, listen, I'm sorry.
You didn't say spoiler warnings or anything, man. What's up?
Well, listen, we're not in the review of Rebels show business here. We review Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm just talking about a side fact. And, also, I mean,
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was all right.
I was like, oh man, like, I mean, when I first saw the clip, it leaked like the day before the episode aired, the fight itself. And I was like, this has to be like a clip of the fight. Like this is just like the end of the fight, right? Like the real fight has to be much longer than this. But
no, I was in the Discord when the day it dropped and you were outraged.
Oh, I was so pissed.
Yeah.
But I mean, but it's okay. It's I'll move past it now. Anyway, moving along here. Clone Sergeant's concentrated fire now correctly calculates critical chance. Echo's EMP grenade now correct cooldown on ability tiers 3 and 4 and beyond. ETH Koth, who cares? Emperor Palpatine can now remove Term Meter in his unique Crackling Doom under a Darth Vader Zeta lead. That's a big deal. Okay. Death Trooper will no longer retain bonuses from Director Krennic's unique ability Immeasurable Power after Krennic is defeated. Okay, so this is, again, following the trend here with Baze and Chirrut. Krennic and Death Trooper as well will not get their bonuses from the uniques from each other if one of them is defeated. Now, this is actually interesting because Krennic actually has the ability to revive Death Troopers. So I guess he'll lose the abilities for a few seconds, and then when you're able to bring Death Trooper back with his AoE attack, then he'll get the bonuses back again. So Finn's Hold the Line now dispels debuffs before applying buffs. Okay, that's basically... Okay, I mean, I understand why they did that. So it's just basically so they just chose the order in which it gets done to be, changed. Now, Grandmaster Yoda will correctly copy heal over time buffs and grant them to others. Grandmaster Yoda will now copy protection up buffs and grant them to others. This is actually a big deal because Yoda, with his ability to steal buffs, they had taken away a lot of abilities that he was able to steal, and then now they're giving him back some abilities that he's able to steal. So heal over time is cool. I remember that didn't they change it so that he wasn't able to steal heal over time? Didn't they take that away and now they're giving it back? Because I remember this was a deal with Luminara, because Luminara always had heal over time, and then when Yoda was able to steal it from her, this was like a problem for people. So then they eventually took that away, and now it's, I guess, because heal over time wasn't initially like a buff; it was just like an automatic that Luminara had. I don't know. I'm trying to remember back about a year ago, so this was a long time ago. But
that's old school.
Yeah, but anyway, it actually helps because protection up is pretty common now. I mean, initially it just came. I remember protection up was just with Chief Nebbit at first, but now, you get protection up with a lot of characters. I know Cassian does that. A few characters get protection up now, especially the. I think you get protection up with the Phoenix characters.
Yeah, Zeb does it.
So yeah, you can. So being able to steal that is actually a huge benefit. So that definitely helps Yoda, and the Jedi are in the limelight here. I mean, the Jedi are, with R2D2, that makes the Jedi a much more viable team now. So this is a good time to be seeing some buffs being given to some of these Jedis, like Grandmaster Yoda, and of course, Anakin or Qui-Gon Jinn, anybody like that. All right, so moving along, IG-88's healing immunity inflicted by mortal wounds will now correctly block health steal and protection healing. IG-88's unique ability Adaptive Aim algorithm now correctly calculates attack when IG-88 has an offensive buff active. Okay, so basically he's going to get an increase probably in damage with this, so that's pretty good. Counter damage from Ima-Gundy's leader now stacks with other sources of offense buff. Does anybody else understand that? So I'm trying to read that right, and I'm just misunderstanding it. Now, so his counter damage from Ima-Gundy's leader now stacks with other sources of offense buff.
Okay, so I guess the increased attack damage you get when he makes any of the other Jedi's counter, if they have anything else already enhancing their attack, it is then multiplied by that attack damage, not as a separate thing. So they basically Jedi's hit way harder.
So if they have offense up, it'll calculate.
Yeah, so instead of just being one set of up, it'll stack on top of whatever they already have and then apply that buff to that.
That makes sense.
So in the end of the day, it just means Jedi's hit real hard now compared to before. It's probably not going to be super different or arena changing, but yeah, it's a benefit.
Okay, that makes sense. So now moving along here, Lobot I know everybody's dying to hear about this. Parallel processing now provides him with the correct speed and tenacity bonuses. So, of all you guys out there running your Lobot lead, okay, this is going to be a huge bonus for him. You know, I don't understand. I mean, like, you know, there's never been a time where Lobot made sense. Never. I don't understand why.
Wait. Lobot's in this game?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, my Lobot's tier 11.
But Lobot's an actual character. Like, I mean, I remember Lobot from the movies, right? Like, you know, there's no, we got Coruscant Underworld Police in there that actually is more viable than Lobot. That doesn't make any sense. Why would Lobot not work? And I mean, I think Lobot should be, you know, I think Lobot should have some different abilities. I mean, I think he should have a synergy with, it doesn't make sense that he doesn't have a synergy with Lando. I mean, they're like buddies, you know? Anyway, offense up from Anakin's unique now stacks with offense from his leader. That's pretty awesome. That means that Anakin's offense is going to be increased with his attacks there. That's good. That means more damage from Anakin. Raised days inflicted by focused strikes will no longer trigger counterattacks the turn in which it was applied. So I guess apparently when you Zeta Ray and she gets her, she inflicts the days, I guess people were still counterattacking even when she made that attack. Now that's not going to happen. It's no longer going to happen. Sith allies will no longer land critical hits while under Nihilist leader in assist attacks. Okay, so I guess apparently, like if you call in an assist under a Nihilist leader with a Sith, or if a person calls an assist, the Sith will not critical hit during that attack. So I guess there was a loophole there with that, and now that's been fixed. So Stormtrooper Han will no longer grant his teammates turn meter when he does not have taunt. Okay. The dodged text will no longer appear when Qui-Gon Jinn's humbling blow and Tebow's bring low use their abilities and attack successfully. Okay. I didn't even know that was happening.
Yeah, that's weird.
Resistant. Okay, let's see here. Ability block from PvE Luminara Unduli will no longer persist between encounters. Resistance Trooper's Opportune Strike will no longer trigger counterattack if it's dispelled enemy's Retribution. Okay, so if an enemy had Retribution and Resistance Trooper dispelled the attack, I guess the character would still counterattack. That's no longer going to happen either. Leader abilities that grant critical chance now stack with other sources of increased critical chance. Okay, so for example, like a Leia leader giving you critical chance can also stack with, let's say, somebody's unique giving you critical chance. That's pretty awesome. Lando Calrissian's leader ability, Fast and Loose, will correctly grant 29% critical damage at ability level 7 and 71. So that means that this whole entire time that we've been running Lando's lead, he was actually giving less critical damage than he was supposed to. So up until now, Lando Calrissian, if you were running him as a leader, which I was for a little while, was not working correctly. So you were actually getting 20% crit damage instead of 30%, pretty much. So that's a big deal, actually. So now the evasion down from Zam Wessel's debuff will no longer deflect. Will now affect deflection as well as dodge. Poe Dameron's unique Stand Firm now correctly grants health recovery to Finn when he resists the debuff. Fix an issue or death mark would not expire when a unit gains stealth if the unit already had stealth. Cassian's unique will now persist beyond the first encounter. Okay, that's pretty cool because Cassian, I think, was suffering from the fact that his unique was kind of, only lasting through the first encounter. His unique is an actually really cool one. It gives all the rebel allies protection up. Now, this is for ships. They made some changes to Slave 1. Seismic Charge will now ignore protection and can now crit. Slave 1's rotating twin blaster cannons, extra hits will no longer trigger counterattacks. The Millennium Falcon, who cares? Nobody has that. Sunfax Jade Ocean Starfighter, prime target, will now properly stun an enemy ship that is buffed. Jade Ocean Soldier Starfighters Separatist assault will no longer damage itself and the assisting ally. I guess apparently it was hurting itself this entire time. That's awesome.
Realize that.
Yeah, you don't know. Your ship is attacking; it's actually hurting itself. There was a time when Qui-Gon Jinn's basic ability, when the first Omegas came out, right? When you were able to increase. Remember, Qui-Gon Jinn's basic reduces turn meter.
Yeah.
So that was the first Zeta. The first Omega was that. Qui-Gon would reduce turn meter. That's the first Omega that I ever equipped. Was that one because it was good for the Rancor raid, right? And what happened was when that actually first came out, Qui-Gon was actually taking away turn meter from himself and giving turn meter to the other team.
That makes absolute no sense.
Yeah, but that's how it was. We actually had videos of it, so it was like a big bug like that. I mean, they made no reason to ever use a basic attack with Qui-Gon. But that got fixed. Anyway, Executrix will now always target 12 total units when using Imperial Assault. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt that attack. That attack does a lot of damage. So that's actually a big deal to see how that affects that attack because the Imperial Assault is really the best part about that ship. Everything else is kind of subpar or okay. The fact that it gives offense up, it doesn't dispel any debuffs. I guess it gets turn meter from the Imperial TIE fighter whenever it dodges an attack. But again, the fact that the Imperial Assault, if you ever get to use it in a battle, can pretty much wipe out an entire squad by itself. If this nerfs that damage, then that might make the Executrix not worth using anymore. So I'd have to try that out myself to see whether it still works or not. Now, Resistance X-Wing will now apply Expose at ability level 1, and Biston's U-Wing scouting mission can no longer be evaded. Okay. So some non-functional changes. I guess Finn updated description, Resistance pilot description updated description.
This seems like a huge list of bug fixes.
It actually is. But what's cool about it is that they also left us a little bit of like an eerie message at the end here for what's ahead, kind of like they did with Darth Nihilus. And they said it reads, an ambitious, ruthless proponent of military power sees a change.
Ooh.
I hope it's Thrawn.
What do you guys make that? What do you guys make of that? Huh? An ambitious, ruthless proponent of military power sees a change.
Tarkin. I say it's Tarkin.
It's definitely Tarkin. Like that's like verbatim the first sentence from his wiki fandom page here.
That's almost not even cryptic anymore. That's pretty much like telling us it's Tarkin. I mean,
they're not even veering
but
to something that would be,
Yeah. I mean, with Veers, they pretty much gave that up too. But I didn't think that was coming. I didn't think it was happening. But Tarkin, I'm a believer. Now, fortunately, I happen to have a maxed out Tarkin, so I'm ready to go. But I'm hoping and wondering what they're going to make, what kind of changes they're going to make to him, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping his leader ability gets a huge bonus because it would be cool to run a Tarkin lead with the Empire, because he gives speed also, so that would make him much better. And he gives a lot of speed, right? Doesn't he give like 30 speed?
28, 29 speed.
Yeah, 29 speed. I mean, if they gave his leader a Zeta, right, where he was able to do like 35 speed, right, and then on top of that, maybe he got extra damage on a crit or something, or maybe turn meter on a crit, or who knows? I mean, they could do a lot of things. Maybe even give him the ability to dispel, attacks, because that's something that the Empire and Darkseid really lacks. They really don't have anybody like Kenobi or Rex, like Chirrut that can dispel attacks.
Hey,
yeah.
I got a question for you. Do you think that there are too many leaders for the Empire now? I mean, you've got like lots of good choices. Almost makes it a lot harder.
No, I don't think you can ever have. I don't think you can ever have too many leaders. I mean, the fact is, I think that most characters, especially ones that are leader characters, kind of like Target is, should have a leader ability. I mean, and it's not like we're taking away Tarkin's leader. I mean, it's not like we're adding a leader to somebody. Tarkin already has a leader. It just sucks, right? So like now his leader may actually be usable. It doesn't make sense to have a character in there that's unusable, right? So, yeah, I'm okay with it. I think that right now, if you look at the way the game is right now, and we were discussing this earlier today on the live show this morning. Right now, the state of the game is unlike it's ever been before. And I've said this many times. Right now, we're at a place where, I mean, you could literally see on your top 10 a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta, a Maul leader, a Rex lead. You could see a Nihilus lead,
a Resistance team.
You could see a Resistance team. I have a guy running all First Order right now in my arena. You have people. You could run a lot of different teams right now. I mean, you could run, a Vader lead with Sith Assassin, or you could run
Ewok.
You could run
Kenobi.
You could run a wedge lead with R2D2 and Baze and Chirrut and Biggs Darklighter. I mean, you could run a lot of different teams right now with a lot of different leaders and be a great, viable team. I mean, and you may not hold as well on defense as some other leaders do, but you're able to advance in the rankings and take your payout if you want, and you can beat almost anybody right now with any team. And R2D2 really is a big part of that. R2D2 you can add to almost any team, and he helps, defend against, some of these squads like this Zol lead. He helps, give or protect, your allies with, with stealthing everyone. He stuns consistently. So if you're using a Jedi team and you have people like Qui-Gon and Ayla on the squad that call other characters in for assist, he's going to constantly come in and stun them too. So, I mean, there's just a lot of great things right now with these teams. And like I said, we're at a place right now where you really can run any kind of squad that you want.
Yeah, I would say between R2 and Nihilus, those two characters, which are very interchangeable in many different builds, have definitely opened up a lot more flexibility and creativity for people to have a diversified team. I mean, if you remember back in when Palpatine was released, Palpatine pretty much owned the arena, or it was again a Rex, and Rex is still very viable, but it was whoever had the fastest Rex with a Wedge and Biggs team and Lando were the ones that winning. Now we have a Resistance team, we have First Order, we have all these different builds that are now viable, and you can mix and match now more so than ever. And it's definitely a complete departure from what we had before when it came to like your top 50 arena.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. But as far as the news is concerned, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, anybody have any other feelings about these changes that were made? I mean, there were a lot made. So, you can look at, the Zader change, the Maul change, the change to some of these unique abilities being taken away when characters die. Krennic and Death Trooper, for example. We're looking at the change to really a lot of characters. I mean, anything that stuck out to you guys that you thought might hurt you or might help you?
I was just really worried about the Zeta fix for the Rancor raids. But I'm feeling safe.
It looks like that. Yeah, it looks like everybody was really concerned about that one, and it seems like it's okay. I mean, listen, you shouldn't be able to even if you still can, you shouldn't be able to just put a character in and just auto an entire raid. That just shouldn't happen. So, I mean, even if that's the change that was made, I don't think that should be okay anyway. I mean, you should have to fight to finish to solo an entire raid. I mean,
this is meant to be a 50-player guild raid, and the fact that one person can solo it is definitely not where it should be. I mean, even though it was the first raid, it should still evolve with the characters and the abilities that come along with them to where a 50-player guild still has to fight for it.
Well, it's for level 80. Let's be honest there. I mean,
but still, like I'm saying, it needs to evolve with it. This is a guild raid. It shouldn't be 80 anymore. It should be 85. I mean, we're kind of now at the point where I mean, most of your guilds are 85, and they do have the abilities to compete in Rancor if it was 85. Right now, the fact that one person can solo it completely is really an injustice of what it should be, which is everybody in the guild collaborating together to get something done.
I agree 100%. The only thing I do feel about it is that for those people that, I mean, whether it's right or not for you to be able to solo a raid with one person, for those people that invested in the Vader Zeta a week ago, that only did it because it was they're able to solo a raid, and now they can't, right?
So another about the you shouldn't be able to solo it because it should take a whole guild at 85 when it's set for level 80. Then they need to adjust the rewards to make it worth our time.
Right.
Exactly.
They should adjust the rewards.
It needs to evolve with the game. It needs to evolve with the characters.
How much cooler would a Rancor raid be right now if they threw, and this is just, I'm just spitballing here, but let's say they threw Han Solo in the guild shipments, okay, and then they put Hoth Leia in there as a character you can attain through the raids. I mean, I would be trying to get rank 1 again.
Exactly,
right?
but that's part of evolving. Is you have to evolve the rewards, you have to evolve the shards. I mean, most people have raids.
I don't care about anything else. I don't care about anything else. Even if you don't change the amount of coins you get, the gear you get, if they just made that simple change, if they took out Han Solo and put in a new character for me to get from that raid, I would instantly be more interested in that raid again, and it would make me want to do it again.
Most
so
skip it now.
Why wouldn't they just do a tier 8 and then throw in like Slave Leia as the reward?
I mean, it doesn't matter what character it is. It's just the point that, like, what I'm saying is a simple switch like that or a simple change like that would make people more invigorated to play that raid. And I think that things like that should be done all the time. That's just my opinion. But
And maybe tier 8's got 6 phases.
Yeah.
That would be really cool to have like Rancor with like a little bit extra on top.
Yeah, agreed.
Or the Rancor pen keeper, and he comes out in a rage when you kill his pet.
Yeah.
Just B Crumb just comes running out.
Yeah, they should add a 5th phase where like the Rancor, like, any you guys ever play Donkey Kong Country?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The original Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, when I first beat that game, you fight like some sort of I forget, like some sort of some clam at the end, like a I think it's like a big walrus or something. I forget. You fight like some monster at the end, right? Like, and it's like a captain of like a ship, like a pirate ship, right? And when you defeat it, it says like game over, right? And I literally it was like one of the first games I ever like fully beat, like all the way through, so I was like super excited. I was jumping up and down, and I literally left the room to go tell my mom that I beat the game. And then I came back in, and the guy came back to life. Okay. And he killed me. Right. So I was like super upset about it. I was thinking to myself, like, wouldn't it be cool if like they just added phase 5 to the Rancor raid? The Rancor just bounces back up off the floor, just destroys your whole team. They don't tell anybody about it, right? Like, you just go through the whole raid, you're thinking whatever, and then they just add this, phase 5 where the Rancor comes back, and it's like a zombie Rancor, That'd be cool.
Zombie pigs too.
What? That'd be cool.
You lost.
It'd be like a maybe not a zombie Rancor. I'm just saying like something. Maybe it's like a. Maybe it's it's just a
werewolf.
It's an undead Rancor. Okay, like something else. Okay, it's just like
a chainsaw and a hockey mask?
You can call a zombie something else. It's still.
Did your mom congratulate you? Did your mom congratulate you on beating the game?
My mom congratulates me when I eat a bowl of cereal in the morning. Okay, my mom congratulates me for everything. Okay, but I mean, that's what a mom should do. But I mean, but yeah, no, I'm saying, I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, you could have like Darth Plagueis come out and just like, manipulate the midichlorians, to create, a new Rancor. Anyway,
people are
I
watching this.
People are watching this. Yeah.
They need to
What about
refresh
the Rancor
Rancor.
handler guy? You know, the guy that like cries? Like maybe you gotta fight him.
Who has to feed the Rancor? That's what I want to know. Who feeds the Rancor?
That guy, you know, that cries. He's like all upset that the Rancor is dead. He's like, oh my god, the Rancor's dead.
But what I think to make
right.
Rancor more viable would be, have the heroic like it is right now, have everybody be able to beat it, and then have another phase that if you qualify for it, that you can do, that you get other shards or something else for those that are actually qualifying for it. Still give the people that are looking for Raid Han their shards, but then there's like a bonus that you can do after the raid for something else that if you qualify, you can get something else to make it more interesting for those that are higher level.
That would be cool. It would also force you to have to be there to be a part of that second piece. Or that would be cool because a lot of people that are like kind of phased out of doing the raid would have to come back to play it.
Yeah, and since it's
awesome.
a guild, since it's a full guild thing, you would have to pick, which one you did. If they introduced new shards, you can just do one, and then there's bonus for the other shards, etc.
Maybe you were like limited. You can only do this thing like once a week.
Right. That'd be cool too.
So then it became really competitive.
All right, let's move along here. We still have a lot of stuff to cover. So we're done with the news. We're going to move on to the next segment here, which is going to be the weekly meta report. And I believe we have, let me see here.
Holy crap, did Clone Sergeant actually show up again? It did.
I'm sure
Yeah, and not only that, he's gone up in numbers.
Spoilers.
He's gone up?
Are we missing
He's gone
something? What?
Yeah.
Okay, so Talon, would you like to do the meta report, or are we gonna have, or is McLeod gonna do it again today?
I unfortunately can't see anything right now.
Okay.
All right, I guess I'll pull it up. I gotta get in front of a screen now.
Take it away.
Let's launch Swgoh here.
All right. Let's see. I haven't even looked at this myself. I was just busy doing it up, and don't always take in the information. Now, like the only thing I did notice, because I made a special point to check if it's still there, Clone Sergeant in 10th position has gone from 14 uses at rank number 1 to 19. And it's not like it's being taken away from any of the others, because all the rest of the top 10 have gone up in numbers as well. So independently of everything else, Clone Sergeant Phase 1 has 19 people using him as a leader and making it to rank 1. So I think at this point,
I'm still convinced that there's a Clone Sergeant like underground coalition out there somewhere that is just doing this to troll our live show.
I want to think. I like to think it's some shard somewhere that's just decided let's all just use nothing but clones in arena just to make it an even playing field, and like screw the Zetas, forget everything else. Let's all just get clones.
If there was anybody that
that's
ran
how
clones in
that
arena, it would be me. But I mean, again, when you have no leader ability, then I guess they're just showing that they can get top rank without leader ability. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's
for whatever reason it is in there at number 10. Yeah,
new thing, I guess.
That's crazy. All right,
so the only real, in terms of the leaders now, the only other real movement, obviously the number 1 is still holding out here with Rex, and obviously a lot of more people are using him. We had 830 leaders in the number 1 spot with Rex as the leader, and there's now 927 in the number 1 spot, so an increased number there. Funnily enough, Darth Maul has taken a drop. He's still a good chunk in second place, but he's dropped from 777 users down to 679. So nearly 100 less users. So either majority of those have switched over to Rex because they just fed up of mirror matching and taking the RNG and have decided that Rex is the way to go, which is kind of how it's been heading in that direction for a couple of weeks now.
What's really the story here is Wedge Antilles coming back to life.
Yeah, that was the next headline from this, about the only other headline. Everyone else has stayed pretty static. You got Boba Fett still in 9th, Jyn Erso still 8th, and then General Kenobi 7th. Vader has dropped down. Nihilus is moved up a little. Qui-Gon pretty much stayed in the same place, but Nihilus and Wedge Antilles have taken a boost. So obviously we know why Nihilus is coming up the ranks, because readily available now in the shard shop, bit easier to get, so more and more people using him. But the big news is, the Wedge Antilles of it all, like you said, with probably the release of R2-D2, it's making Wedge more viable. I have actually seen this, and a bunch of people in our guild have been throwing up screenshots in the chat saying Wedge is back because of the obviously the extra benefits you get from him. He's now more viable because of R2-D2 as a leader there. So Wedge Antilles having a huge boost here from 73 players up in that's fifth or sixth position from last week. He's moved all the way up there into a very solid third behind Darth and Rex. So
I'm seeing people use him without bigs. I'm seeing people use just Wedge.
Not even with bigs, because you got your other options now, and R2-D2's in there, obviously. So let's see if that is reflected in the squad member meta for this week. So let's see, what do we got here?
I wonder if R2's on the list yet.
Unfortunately,
he is not quite broken through. No.
He'll be there. Just under the top 10. He's actually in spot number 11. So
he's banging on the door there, but he hasn't quite squeaked through. So holding out that place in number 10 is Sith Assassin. So he's still in there. Again, one of the more readily available characters they put into the shard shop. So a few people. He's taking a drop in numbers, but he's still holding in there number 10, and pretty much everything has stayed the same. The big mover this week would seem to be Chert Imwe. He has gone up a couple of slots there. So apparently that nerf not really doing him much damage. Let's see where Baze has ended up. Nope, Baze has pretty much held the same place. So the top three here are still Darth, Nihilus, General Kenobi, and Rex. And then fourth, Baze Malbus holding exactly the same position. And Chert has come to join him in fifth, which means Emperor Palpatine took a drop one space. And here we go. Oh, look, here we go. We've got Darth Maul took a bit of a drop as well. So Darth Maul falling out of favor a bit here. Not entirely sure why. Obviously, you got all these other new comps you can throw together. But obviously, like we were saying with the leaders, Rex has become a bit more favored over Darth. So that would account for him dropping in both squad member usefulness and as a leader. But otherwise, pretty stable. It's pretty much as it has been for the last month or so now.
Yeah, well, I see the Rex lead increasing because more people are using Rex to counter Darth Maul, and also because Rex is viable with more characters, right? So you can use Rex lead and throw a whole bunch of different characters in there and make it work. Whereas with Darth Maul, you kind of need specific team behind him to make it work correctly. Kenobi's increasing because I imagine as Kenobi, more people get a 7-star Kenobi or a 6-star Kenobi or unlock Kenobi in the raids, that number will continue to increase because he's probably, if not, he's a top 3 player in the game, in my opinion, for sure.
Yeah. But it's the Rex thing's definitely happening. The main stat there, apart from all the shifts in position, is that Rex's numbers as a squad member has nearly gone up 100 as well, whereas Darth Maul's fell 100 from the leaders. So Rex is definitely taking a large chunk out of the Darth Maul Zeta meta.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So not much of a change here. We're no longer in the pizza pie meta. It's kind of a little bit more. Those are small slices up there on top. But so we're at a point though where again, Nihilus is seeing a lot more favor because a lot more people are getting him. He's really just a great character all around. You can kind of use Nihilus as a leader now. You can use him as a regular character support. You can also use Kenobi on pretty much any team. And again, Rex lead works with pretty much any team. And being that he's such a dominant leader right now, of course he's going to be one of the top used squad members as well. So he's just a great character to have. But overall, the real only interesting thing here is seeing that Darth Maul is continuing to decline, and seeing that characters like Rex and Baze Malbus are moving up. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I would say that at least my comment on the mall, decline. A lot of my people in my shard, they've been running mall for so long. They're just looking for a new, fresh team to play with. So that might just be part of why there's a decline because there's a lot of new characters to play with. Again, like you said, with Rex, R2 being introduced, people are mix and matching a lot more teams now. Where Maul is kind of very exclusive into what his leader ability can add value to.
I think the main thing to take from all this stuff is, like I said, and I see people here commenting in the chat. It's yeah. I mean, can you beat a Darth Nihilus lead? Without a doubt. I mean, there's definitely teams out there that can beat any lead. I mean, I think right now we're at a point where, there's whatever kind of team you have, there's a counter to that team out there. I think that what we're going to see on the rise here is going to be some of these Jedi teams because they're easy to get and you don't need much to get them going. I mean, R2-D2 was just given to everybody. If you have a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta and an R2-D2, you're rocking and rolling. So I think that it's not a team that needs a lot of pieces or a lot of Zetas, for example, kind of like a First Order team or some of these other squads that require you to have 3 or 4 Zetas to make the team work right. So I think that that's a team that you can kind of just put a Zeta on you can put a Zeta on R2, you can put a Zeta on Qui-Gon, and you're pretty much off to the races. So that's cool. But we'll see. Time will tell. I'm sure Qui-Gon Jinn will move up that list at some point. So moving along here, we're going to do the top 10. Again, this is all done by Mac Media here in McLeod. Thank you very much for that.
Welcome. And it's a pretty good top 10 this week, so should have a lot of fun with this one.
So this week's top 10 is going to be the top 10. I believe we're going to have Cheeky and McLeod do the top 10 this week.
Joint effort this week.
So Cheeky, tell us what this top 10's about.
This week's top 10 is the top 10 forgotten heroes from Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So, remember when a Poe coin flip determined who would win an arena matchup? Remember when making Qui-Gon Jinn free-to-play caused YouTubers to quit the game? Remember when there was a Jawa arena meta? Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes has been around long enough for many characters to have their chance to thrive. Who are the 10 most important characters who were once indispensable and now are just memories? McLeod,
all right, so ladies first, if you want to launch into...
Okay, number 10, Zam Wessel. No, just saying if you're paying attention. She was never good, ever. Even cast a spell and knows this.
All right. And then number 9, the real start of the list, we got Dengar. And Dengar was never really a force in Arena or Galactic War. His kit was kind of lackluster and his damage was mediocre. However, for a couple of months, having a maxed gear Dengar was the most reliable way to solo the Rancor raid. So collect number 1 raid rewards and dominate your guild mates. Now, there are a dozen different teams that can solo the raids in less time and with less effort, like we were just talking about. You can just hit auto now, but for a few brief moments, Dengar was king.
Woo! Number 8, Sunfac. The arena is now a combination of Stealth and Evade Zol teams and Triple Dispel Rex and Chase teams, but not that long ago, the most devastating combination was turn meter and buffs. Sunfac was a beast to kill, countered with a Dispel, and even had an effective self-heal that would put a serious speed bump in the way of any arena battle. Too bad Darktron never used him.
Even though Darktron was like one of the first to 7-star his Sunfac, just
Molly is going deep with the cuts.
Yes, he is.
Just wait.
Seriously deep cuts because there was Darktron with his 8-star level gear 12 Sunfac that he never used. All right,
and
moving on.
Now all he do is throw it in the ocean.
I think he threw him in the ocean as soon as he got him. But someone who might have been thrown in the ocean at this point, because we've forgotten him at number 7, is Darth Sidious. Was a beast once, whose healing immunity would derail your Galactic War attempts and whose arena leadership put out some huge damage numbers. Until his recent Zeta update, his poor health and potency made him a wet noodle that was best left on the scrap heap or thrown into the ocean. He can still be seen in Phase 2 of the HAAT raid and in some arena teams, but his dominance is long forgotten.
Number 6 is Captain Phasma. So Phasma was once a boss. Even now, she has a great kit with an outstanding leadership ability and excellent utility. The problem is the rest of the First Order is largely forgettable, and her AoE speed down is a liability against Rex leads. She still can be used in the raids, and with the addition of decent First Order characters, she could be easily meta-defining.
Yep, like Raymond said, there's a couple people running that full-on First Order team, but that's a heck of a lot of gear and a whole load of Zetas. So that's forgotten for now. And moving on to number 5, Poe Dameron. If you are one of those regrettable people who still invest in Resistance, Maurice, you may feel like Poe is still a solid character. His ship is solid and his kit is interesting with turn meter control and exposes. Once, though, he was a god. Every single arena match was determined by whether or not your Poe went first. No strategy, no mods, just dominance.
Number 4, Barriss Offee. Very few characters in the game, especially pay-to-use characters, have ever been nerfed. They have had bug fixes and redesigns to scale back mechanics that were not working as intended, but only one character has ever been clubbed by the nerf that. Barriss Offee was so good back in the day that she could keep your arena team alive forever. She negated the most dynamic debuff in the game at that time, which is heal immunity. And she did it with her weak little hits and enormous health pool. Now she is incredibly annoying, especially with a Zeta, but she is not what she once was, divine.
Okay, and from the divine into the top 3, we have Old Ben, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Does anyone miss the days of the Old Ben arena meta? Hell no. Old Ben lead brought the dodge meta into the arena and led to more thrown phones and shouted expletives than any other addition. His lead was so dominant and frustrating that it led to not 1, but 3 straight pay-to-use characters that had evade counters to be released and purchased in big numbers. If you hate B2, looking at you, Meth Vader, you have Old Ben to blame. Let's hope he never, ever comes back.
Number 2, First Order TIE Pilot. A hard mode farm for the ages. FOTP was brutal to obtain, even if you paid for packs because he unlocked at 1 star. So even if you got lucky and pulled him, you were getting just a tiny number of shards. He was bugged for months and would sit in the back row and one-shot any character in the game. Point, click, dead. Much like Phasma, FOTP, especially with his huge damage Zeta, could easily become meta again with a good First Order character or 2. For now, he is forgotten.
I did not remember he unlocked at 1 star. I didn't think any of the characters unlocked at 1 star. And speaking of the number, yeah.
I think, who was it? Not Cup.
Is there someone else who unlocked at 1?
There is one.
Royal Guard unlocked at 1? Oh boy, I don't remember that.
Get Ocean Soldier unlocked at 1 star.
Did they? Wow, that's so long ago.
Not even POW. Not even POW.
No, I'm pretty sure like all of them kind of unlock at least at 2 or 3 star these days, don't they?
Not even.
Shards?
Yeah, not even POW unlocks at 1 star. You know who does? You know who also does? Royal Guard.
Yeah, Royal Guard, Geonosian Soldier, Ewok Scout, they need 1 star.
I think so too. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think I think Death Trooper was a 1 star also, right? And then you were able to get him to 2 stars.
No, he was a 2 star.
1 star.
Okay, so number 1.
Okay, any bets? Speaking of number 1, here we go.
Guessing. In live show chat. Votes on Ray.
What are they saying? What are they saying? Oh, well, live show chat.
That's because somebody accidentally put it on the screen already, so you can see.
Oh, we'll put it on the screen. I would say we have very discerning, smart viewers.
Hey guys, let me guess.
All right, before I carry on, who's got their volume up and getting a feedback? Okay, we're not, so we're good. So Ray was a brutal hard mode farm when she was released that could take months to complete. when she was done, she was the answer to absolutely any question about the game. I do remember that era. So who should I put in my arena team? I feel like this should be a group kind of call and response. Who should I put in my arena team?
Ray.
Yeah, who should be my 5th for the Rancor?
Ray.
Who should be who should be the date for a very exciting personality who would probably want this answer to be?
Ray.
Gene Ocean Spy.
There we go. Yeah, Gene Ocean Spy. That's frightening thought. Okay, and who was the hardest hitter in the game?
Ray.
Ray Charles.
Yes, she was. Ray Charles. So now, who is the most forgotten hero in the game? Sadly, sad times. Ray.
Yeah, Ray.
Oh, well, there you go.
But she.
Don't worry
still,
about
like you were saying.
Who gets
light, you know.
Who gets my furnace? Ray always gets your furnace.
Get enough Ray.
Yeah.
Ray gets all your furnaces. Yes, but she's a yeah. You know what it is? It's weird about her because I still think that she can be used on pretty much any team. I just think she's not. You know what I'm saying? I think that she, you know, like if you're running a Boba Fett lead, I mean, you could run a Ray. You know, if you're running a Rex lead, you could probably run a Ray. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if she's just not part of a faction or she doesn't really have a great synergy with anybody right now, except for the Resistance. You know, but
does Maurice want to chime in on this? He's running Resistance. Do you run Ray, Maurice?
No. She's way too
So you just leave her out.
Yeah.
So just forgotten.
I mean,
Even
when you
with
got
the
these multi going first, yeah, I mean, she gets destroyed. She's debuffed, you know, so she doesn't do damage. I mean,
I think we'll get lightsaber Ray by the next movie, and she'll probably hit a lot less hard than she did with this character. But you know, Ray still uses. You know, she's still viable in the raids. You know, she's still. And the only thing about her is, like I said, in arena, she was literally on every single team, and you know, nobody. If you didn't run Ray, you were stupid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But now
she's got characters that put up so much damage now. I mean, you've got the Wix combo that just completely destroys her numbers in terms of damage output now. So
yeah, you're right.
Well,
that's
and speaking of
really
wigs,
happened.
so, you know, there's two characters that I thought I would see here. One would be Lando. The other one would be ST Han, because again, back in the days, with those two characters, it was whoever had the fastest ST Han was the one that actually won in arena. And then, you know, Lando, being the AoE god, you know, was, you know, both, you know, who had the fastest Lando and whoever had the fastest ST Han to keep the damage away from Lando so he could do what he did. Those are the two that I'm actually surprised didn't make the list, because those two were so prominent in the arena, you know, when I first started the game.
Yeah, I agree.
This is probably going to take
Lando even being such a game changer at the time. Like, if you didn't have a Lando, you were dead.
If you didn't have Lando, you just died. You know.
Yeah, Lando was great, especially with the wedge lead. And you know, who knows? I mean, now, you know, really the reason that Lando died was crit immunity with Short Trooper. And now that you don't see a lot of Short Trooper out there, you know, Lando may see you know, another day in the sun. You know, now that people are running R2D2 and all these other squads. I
think once Maul Zeta starts falling away to where, you know, again, because with that, you know,
and their stealth,
you know, stealth and the crit immunity, you know, once that you know, meta starts changing, I think we might see him come back, because again, his AoE is one of the best in the games. He hits so freaking hard.
And he had that bug fix as well, so he hits harder now, right?
Yeah, with his leader. But now, I mean, what I'm saying is you know, now. I mean, even now, a 20K plus AoE attack damage is still amazing. So, I mean, I think he could definitely still see some viability at some point, but obviously right now, yeah. Oh, Poggle. Yeah, we haven't said Poggle used to actually be a good player in the game too. Poggle's been forgotten. But,
for like the blink of an eye.
We'll consider Poggle to be an honorable mention. Yeah, but that's pretty interesting. All right, so moving along here.
Wrap this thing up, Cheeky.
We gotta finish it up.
Wrap up?
Oh, I don't have a conclusion.
No, you don't? All right, I got it here.
All right.
So the final thought this week.
Off you go.
All right. So the final thought this week, it's been an entertaining ride through the different meta and flavors of the month. And who knows who the next must-have character to forget will be. hard to imagine right now, but maybe a certain horned one will be the top of another list like this a few months from now. Who knows? Stay tuned.
Unicorns.
He's trying to say Darth Maul is going to be on the list. but that's another presentation brought to us by Mac Media Collective. Thank you very much, McLeod, for all that you do, and we really appreciate it. And so any final thoughts on the top 10? I mean, I kind of agree with most of the characters. Barris has been seeing some use lately with her Zeta, but I mean, not for the same reasons that she was being used in the past. So I kind of understand why she's on the list. But moving along, we have a new segment here that we're going to be doing, from week to week, where we're going to actually take people's rosters and do a review on the roster and give them some advice as to what they should do to improve the current team that they have or the current arena team that they're. And then we're going to have them come back 3 or 4 weeks down the road and discuss where they're at and what changes they made and where they started, what they started working on, so we can see if they actually followed our advice or not. Our first such review or roster analysis is going to be Keyboard's roster. Hey, Keyboard, what's going on?
Not much.
You ready to get your roster analyzed?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have Keyboard's roster here up on the screen. We're gonna go into, I don't know what that was, but please don't do that again. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look here at what Keyboard's got going on. All right. So actually, to be honest with you, I'm pretty impressed, Keyboard. I got to tell you. I'm looking here. How long have you been playing? First of all, how long have you been playing the game?
3rd of January. Not this year's, but last year.
Okay, so last January you started. Okay, and obviously you're already a level 85. Are you doing heroic AAT raids right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And what guild are you in?
The ghost ones.
The ghost ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just looking at your roster here, what is your current arena team right now?
I'm going to lead Ayla, Qui-Gon Jinn, Royal Guard, and someone else. Oh, it's Yoda. How could I forget Yoda?
I mean, that's a pretty interesting squad. I see you're at rank 150 right now in arena. Okay. Now, just out of curiosity, I mean, do you have any Zetas?
Not yet.
So you haven't equipped any Zetas, but do you have Zeta mats yet?
No.
Okay. Is there a reason? Is you just don't have the ships to beat that challenge?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So basically, you're still working to try to get to the point where you can Zeta or start getting Zetas from the challenges. I mean, have you started buying Zetas with your Fleet Arena tokens at all?
I felt really tempted to do it, but I just haven't bought them from the Fleet Arena because I might miss out on TIE Advanced and Wedge.
I understand that. Now you're at a really delicate part of the game because you still need a lot of characters, and on top of that, you're farming ships as well. So you don't want to take off too much from getting ships, and getting your ships to a level where you're able to start getting Zetas every single week from those challenges is a very important thing. But I mean, I would say you probably should start buying some Zetas here and there as well. Because I think that you're going to benefit a lot from getting a Zeta leader here, whether that's going to be Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta or I really didn't see anything else that would make more sense than a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta as far as your squad is concerned. I mean, you're currently already running Jedi. You pretty much already have a top 20 squad on your team. You could run a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta and just that addition alone would make you a top 50 team without a doubt. You know what I mean? So, and did you by chance get R2D2 with this past event? I didn't see. I was looking. I think I saw R2D2 on there.
There he is.
Yeah, you got a 6-star R2D2. You could run a 6-star R2D2 if you got into Gear 11. So what I'm saying is, I think my opinion would be to start buying some Zetas. Okay, I mean, even though it may.
You mean buy them out of like Fleet Store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, I was actually against,
instead of spending on materials and other things. Sorry, the blueprints.
I would think, I was actually against this at first when Zetas first came out. I was telling people not to buy Zetas, just wait till you get them from the challenges. But honestly, it takes so long to get them from the challenges that you're going to have to buy Zetas anyway. So, I mean, my opinion is, you already have a pretty solid Jedi team. I mean, you could run a Zeta Qui-Gon and instantly get into the top. I mean, there's people on my shard that take top 5 ranks, top 10 ranks every single day with just a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta. So you can get up there really quick. Maybe you might have to spend a day or two like catching up. Like maybe you spend a couple refreshes today to try to get to rank, top 75. Then you do another refresh to get to top 50. You know what I'm saying? You do a couple of days of catching up in your arena. But once you get that Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta, I think that'll instantly propel you into the top 50 of your arena and, give you much better rewards. And then once you're able to get more crystals every day, once you're able to get more crystals every day, that will help you with everything else in the game, because honestly, the most important resource you have in this game, Keyboard, is those crystals. So when you're in arena, it's the only, currency in the game that costs you money. Right. So with crystals, you can buy refreshes, which gives you more shards. You get more mats. You get more gear. You get more credits. You get more currency for the different shipments, whether that's, arena ship. I'm sorry, not arena ship, whether that's cantina shipments or, anything like that. So, I mean, I think that you should do whatever it takes to get you more crystals every day. And that would be getting into the top 20 or top 10 of your arena. And what I'm saying is you can do that pretty simply, I think, with just working on your R2D2, starting to buy some Zetas every day from your fleet shipments, and just starting to save until you're able to get that Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta. Okay, and then once you're able to do that, you Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, and just run Qui-Gon, Yoda, Ayla. Do you have Kenobi yet, or are you still getting shards?
I'm still getting shards, so I'm not too far away from unlocking them.
You're not too far away from unlocking them? How many shards do you have for them right now?
I think it's 125.
Oh, so you're about 25 shards away. So you're only a few raids away from getting Kenobi. Okay. Yeah, I would work on gearing up Kenobi, work on gearing up R2, and just get Zetas every day to Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, and then when you're ready, maybe a month and a half from now, I think you'll be able to actually run a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta with Yoda, Ayla. You can run Kenobi. Even at 5 stars, you can run Kenobi in that team, and then you run R2D2, and I think you'll have a great team. Now, how's your Anakin Skywalker?
He's blue gear still. But he's at 7 stars.
7 star? Okay.
He just needs gear work then.
Yeah, I mean, I would work on Anakin too. I mean, if you're going to run a Jedi team, you might as well have other Jedi to use too. I also see you have a Palpatine out there, so that's pretty cool. So you could run an Empire team as well. But I think that being that you're so strong with the Jedi already, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel and start farming a whole new squad, right? You might as well just work with the squad that you have right now and try to increase their viability. Because right now, this is actually a great time for Jedi. So you're actually in a great place with your team that you currently have already. And like we were saying earlier, the quickest team that you can get up and running with Zetas is a Jedi team, because all it really needs to start winning right away is a Qui-Gon Jinn Zeta, and you can instantly start moving up your arena ladder right away. So, I would still save still save 400 currency in there for TIE Advanced if you get it, and other things. But again, bear in mind the TIE Advanced, even if you get a 7-star TIE Advanced, that's not going to get you more crystals. That's also not going to necessarily help you with beating that challenge to get the Zetas every day. So I would work and use all your currency that you get from Galactic War on ships, and I would focus on getting Zetas out of those fleet shipments every day. Now, how are your ships?
This is a full roster review. We have to ask the question.
Go to her ship. Go to the arena screen again, where you can see her arena team, and then press the button so you can see her ship arena team.
Where do I do that? I didn't know if that's possible.
When you go back to the screen, I'll show you.
There's a little side arrow, isn't there?
There's a little arrow right next to her arena team. You can click on that arrow, and that will actually slide over to her.
I learned something new, and I'm one of the oldest players in the game. All right, there we go. Ship it is.
Yeah. So,
Shipsies.
Just looking at her ship squad here, we can see that. She's got. Now, what do you need to get Zetas from the challenges every day?
You need to get Tarkin. Right. First step is getting Tarkin.
Well, she's running Tarkin, so she's got a Tarkin already, so that's not a problem. But what else? What else?
You need 5-star dark side ships.
Dark side ships.
Five dark side ships to unlock the Tarkin. Fleet ship.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that guy at 5.
And how many 5-star dark side ships does she have right now?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So we just need one more.
You're one dark side ship away, and you're at 79.
Your TIE Advanced is actually
your TIE Advanced is ready.
It's ready to be upgraded to 5-star. Then you're actually ready to challenge.
You're literally already ready to go get that challenge done.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So, you may want to throw a little bit of gear. I wouldn't throw a lot of gear, but throw a little bit of gear on your Geonosian Spy and your Geonosian Soldier. Just the blue gear and the green gear, just to get them right before the purple gear. The gear that you have tons of. Get 5. Them geared up a little. Yeah, get them to gear level 5, gear level 6, and then go try that challenge to try to see if you can beat it. If not, you may need to get. A little bit better with one of your ships or whatever, but you're not so far away that you can't beat that challenge sometime soon here. You probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks could start to get Zetas from every, you'll have a chance to get Zetas 3 times a week, so that's a chance to get, you can get possibly 2 Zetas with each pull, so you're talking a chance of 4 a day, times 3. So you could possibly get 12 Zetas a week. That's not going to ever happen, but you have a chance to do that. So what I'm saying is, the quicker you can get there, the better, but you should also start buying Zetas with your fleet currency. Okay. And then as that happens, and you get more crystals, once you start, running that Zeta Qui-Gon team, you'll also be able to start, upgrading your ship squad. It'll literally help you in every other area of the game because you're getting more crystals every day. So you'll be able to do more Cantina refreshes every day. You'll be able to do more, you'll be able to do more arena refreshes, so you can actually get further up in arena. So you'll be able to get more crystals. It's really going to help you all across the board with more crystals. So I think that, that should be your main focus right now.
The late picks in live chat has just identified that she's already actually got Tarkin to 5 stars. So she's just going to be missing the other 3 ships that she needs for the Zeta challenge.
She needs 3 more ships?
You gotta have 8 5-star ships to actually do the challenge.
Of course.
I thought you said
I think
it was
it's second
5
step.
5-star ships.
That's to get Tarkin to 5 stars.
Yeah.
And then you
you
need another 3.
You need 8. Doesn't matter whether it's light side or dark side.
You need 5 dark side ships to get Tarkin to 5-star, and then you can use any 8 5-star ships to complete the actual challenge for the Zetas.
So we need.
Okay, so how many 5-star ships does she have?
She's got
7.
7, excuse me.
Could do one more. Woohoo! And really,
That one-
the ships, they barely ever bring them in because they're just sitting in your reserves.
Well, and
They're all
again,
level
you have TIE
85.
Advance. You have TIE Advance ready at 4-star, ready to upgrade to 5 stars. So that would be your.
Yeah, I was counting that one. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, you were already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can also get some more shards for, let's say, some dark side ships from your Galactic Wars. So I mean that can help out as well. But like I said, I mean my and this is just my advice, and you guys can share and chime in here wherever you want. I think if I were you right now today, this is what I would do. I would start pumping all the fleet shipments that I have into Zetas. Okay, get some of these ships a little bit more leveled up. Some of these characters with the ships a little bit more leveled up, so that you can get that one more 5-star dark side ship, and then get the ability to pull Zetas from the challenges every single week. Once you're able to get 20 Zetas, I would Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, and in the meantime, start putting all your resources for gearing, like as far as like doing your refreshes every day or any type of energy that you use every day, on gearing R2D2 and Kenobi when you're able to unlock him. Okay, once you get a Gear 11 Kenobi, a Gear 11 R2D2, you have a Gear 11 Yoda, Gear 11 Ayla, and a Gear 11 Qui-Gon with a Zeta, you'll have probably one of the better arena teams in your shard. So I think that you'll be in good shape with that. And I think even with a 6-star R2D2, you'll get the job done because he's such a great niche player. Well, you guys agree with me here?
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be a good boost for her to buy her first 20 Zeta mats if possible, so she can just climb the ladder a bit quicker.
What do you think, Keyboard? Do you think this is sound advice, or you think we're steering you in the wrong direction here?
No, I think I'll be okay listening to you.
Okay, so just take some of the advice that we gave here today. Start working on your team. Start working on some of the things we talked about. And like I said, we'll have you back in about 4 weeks, to go over your roster again, and we'll take a look at where you're at and see if you're ready to start. Maybe by that point you're already in the top 50 in arena, and you're getting Zetas. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping 4 weeks from now you come back and you're already getting Zeta mats, and that you're already in the top 50 in arena because you've gotten your Qui-Gon Jinn Zeted, and you go from there. I think a month from now you should definitely be able to have a Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, without a doubt. So, we'll have you back and we'll go over it then. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for coming on and showing us your roster today so we can do a review. I hope we were able to help you in some way. And like I said, I think that if you listen to some of the advice that we gave you here, I think that you'll be a lot better off in the game overall. I think you'll be, getting a lot more crystals every day from your arena, and then ultimately because of that, you'll be getting a lot more, gear, a lot more currency, a lot more credits, and that'll also help your ship squad as well. All right. Now we move on to the next segment of the live show, and the last segment, which is going to be our weekly Q&A. And I think good old Maurice has compiled a whole list of wonderful questions for us to go over here now. So it's last chance here to get any questions in that you guys want to have asked on the live show. Just come into the live chat here of the show on YouTube, and we will try to get them answered here on the show before we call it a night.
I would like to say thanks for allowing me to come on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Listen, you're staying on the rest of the show. You're not going anywhere. You're going to help answer some of these questions for people.
Okay.
All right.
All right. First question tonight comes from Big Show Bala. Thoughts on Chopper and R2D2 together?
I don't think about it at all.
Throw him in the ocean. Throw him in the ocean.
Throw it in the ocean.
There is the argument that R2 gets double bonuses from Chop there, and K2 for that matter.
I actually think that with a resistance, with a Phoenix team, I think that R2D2 will be really good, because I think that he gets they're also rebels, so he's going to give them the rebel bonuses. He's going to work in that team just like anybody else would. The only thing that he won't benefit from is the unique abilities. So I still think that he works great. I actually made a video about the synergy with rebels and R2D2. You may even find that here as one of the videos you can click on after the show. So check that out. Wink, wink. But the rebels video, actually, the first team I use is a Hera lead with Zeb Aurelios, and then also R2D2, and they work great together. I think that adding R2D2 with, let's say, a full Phoenix squad, maybe adding Chopper and either Kanan or Sabine or Ezra would make a pretty good team. Again, I'm not sure how viable it would be, but it sounds pretty good on paper. We'd have to see. What are your guys' thoughts?
You don't really want to include Chopper in this team, is what you're saying?
Not really. I mean, I still think that it would benefit without. But again, we'd have to see. I mean, maybe having Chopper, R2, and Zeb, Sabine, and a Hera lead might be good. I mean, you have to try out some different combinations to see what works best. But I don't know. I don't think you want two droids like that on the team. I think you'd want to have some major damage dealers on there.
Okay, well, since we're on the topic, this question just came in from Kangaroo. When Phoenix becomes available to farm, which order would you farm them in?
Well, that really is going to have to depend on the squad that you currently have. I mean, it really is going to be different for everyone because they are rebels. They'll be great to use with, let's say, some different, rebel squads, Rogue One squads. But, because I'm, also using a Jedi team right now, my particular first choice is going to be Ezra Bridger. And then I'll probably even go for Sabine at that point, then Kanan. And then after all that, I'd probably go for Hera, then Zeb, and then Chopper.
But that's if they drop them all in the same store all at the same time. They're not going to be dropped all at the same. You're not going to have your choice of these people. It's going to be like, oh, do I have enough currency in Arena Store?
You're right. You're right. Some of them are going to be hard node farms. Some of them are going to be more easily attainable. So that'll also play into the fact of what characters you're going to choose first, right? Because if you see that, let's say for example, Kanan is available in Cantina nodes, and Ezra is a hard node farm, obviously Kanan's going to take priority then at that point. You know what I mean? So that'll also dictate some. Yeah.
God, I hope Zeb.
I hope Zeb is. I hope Zeb is an easily farmable character.
Or like the Galactic War.
He's a great character. Yeah,
Zeb's awesome.
Yeah,
I love Zeb. He's only 4-star. I got him gear 11, but he's only 4-star. So he needs those extra stars to really shine. Mm-hmm. But I think he's going to be really good.
Absolutely. All right. I just have to step away here for a second, guys. You go ahead and answer the next question. I'll be back in about 2 minutes.
I think Zeb's one of the best characters. Period.
Yes, he's very good, I think. Now, Lotion, you with us? This one will probably be down your alley. Any advice for R2D2 and the clones from Hot Boys 309?
I haven't actually. I have my R2 at gear 11. He's maxed out. I haven't actually run him with my clones, so I can't actually say how viable they'd be. And I'm not sure if this is arena or some kind of raid group, but clones in and of themselves with the current meta is very, very difficult because, again, they're very crit based, and with Zal out there all the time, it's and also with a lot of people doing General Kenobi and Baze and potentially like Xeris plus Nihilus. Nihilus kind of changed everything when it came to the meta there, but you have a hard time punching through all of the taunts, the heals, the cleansing to be able to get to who you need to actually be effective. I don't really think that the team with R2 with clones would be more viable than other alternatives, because again, their strengths are their crit and their ability to leverage protection, refreshes, and also Cody's 2-on-2 attack to do it still does massive damage if you can crit. But with a lot of counters to that, clones are still going to have a hard time in the arena for the foreseeable future.
Lotion, which clone would you take out of the team to put R2 in now?
I would actually probably take out Rex. Because again, Clone Sergeant is your major damage dealer. I would have to do some theory craft on that to actually. It need to be a toss-up between Rex and Clone Sergeant, whether I need more cleansing abilities or whether I need more damage. But again, if you're going against an anti-crit meta team, then Clone Sergeant doesn't make sense, and I'd probably throw in Rex. But again, clones are built on crits. So if you can't crit or if critting hurts you, then there's no reason to run a clone team, period. Any other build with that is
them. Xeris.
Any other build is just not going to be viable with clones. I mean, and I've tried just about every single one of them.
What did you say, Talon?
I'd say potentially the only clone build that's viable right now in top 10 arena would be a Rex lead, remove all their crit chance mods, go all offense, low crit chance, and again, try to punch through with, heavy offense. Because again, right now the crit meta is still too difficult to beat with clones as the typical Cody lead would be.
Okay,
All right.
so I'm back.
Welcome
Next
back.
question.
Would you like to shamelessly plug a video real quick before we move on to the next one?
No. No plugs.
All right.
Let's just keep answering questions.
All right, this next one, R2D2. Will this change to IG80? Or excuse me, let me restart. Will this change make I'm a Gundy's lead viable for P1, P3? I guess he's talking about the bug fix they did for him.
I think I'm a Gundy lead in P1 is still viable.
I think it's still viable. I don't think that's going to change the viability of I'm a Gundy. I still think that there's better teams you can run, but I think that I'm a Gundy will still be probably more viable because he's going to get an increase in damage. So I'd say I'm a Gundy probably a better team after today or after this update.
I would agree because again, R2's basic does a stun, which is a big thing.
Right. Agreed. And they're all Galactic Republic, right? So they're going to but R2's not going to gain the counterattack. But yeah, I still think I'm
right,
a Gundy.
it's all Jedi. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. But I still think that I'm a Gundy. I still think that R2D2 will help that team. So I don't think it's going to hurt the team.
Yeah, don't sleep on that second Zeta, the one that he stacks just all those stats, like the 10% offense protection. I mean, that stuff adds up, especially over the course of like a raid. That 10% offense, I mean, when you're going 15 times, I mean, that really adds up. So if he's not countering, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you're making up the damage from him not countering, from the other characters. If you Zeta him.
Yeah, and he has 2 Zetas, and they're both viable.
Oh, I slapped, but I love it, dude. I went all in on him. I'm getting a lot of play out of R2.
Dispelling on crits and craziness.
All right, let's see if we have anything to go with it. Okay, the next one is Cytrox99. His arena team, he's asking about, what do you guys think about arena team with Zeta Gen lead, Chase, R2, with the Zetas and GK?
That sounds badass.
That seems like a pretty good team. Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds like a pretty good team. I mean, I've never ran that specific team myself, but I did see or I did face a maxed out Jin lead with R2, Baze, Chirrut, and Biston, and that was pretty good. So I imagine that this team will be even probably better because Kenobi's better than Biston.
Well, and you got to think R2's a rebel, right? So when he stealths, when he uses that stealth mood, he's given buffs, right, to all 4 characters, so they're getting protection up from it. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's got an AOE debuff too, so I mean he'll burn you and he'll expose you, or a chance to expose all the enemies. So I mean I think he'd be pretty solid under a Gen lead. I didn't even think about that.
I agree. Yeah. It's a good team, good squad.
All right, Cytrox, you got a winner there, buddy. All right, next one. This Tom L has a couple questions. He got his R2 to 6 stars. He's asking if it's worth spending to gear him up even at 6 stars.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
I would say yes too.
100%. Without a doubt, yes.
He just brings life to your entire light side roster. Everybody. And then the second one here, age-old question: who should his first Zeta character be? I don't know who he's got.
He was asking. He just asked a question about what team. Oh, you asked about R2D2. So he didn't really say any characters that he has. Well, it depends on who you have. I mean, if you're talking about the best leader Zeta, I mean, I would say it's either a Darth Maul or a Qui-Gon Jinn. If you're talking about the best just character Zeta for the abilities they have, I'd say it's probably
Kylo.
It's probably R2D2 or being that you have or Kylo Ren. I would say, yeah.
That one's, I mean, it's a very hard question to answer because, again, a lot of it's, what kind of shard are you on? What kind of maturity do they have? Barris as a Zeta, because, again, her unique is so beneficial to so many different builds, is a great one. But that may not be, what is good on your shard. And, to your point, I would say for leader ability, Maul is by far, probably the most prominent, and for a good reason. Again, if you have full clones, Cody is fantastic, but that's going to help you more in the raids than it is going to be in the arena. It's a really hard question to answer because there's so many variables.
I agree. Any thoughts from anybody else? McLeod, Cheeky, Omega, Wrath, anybody else?
We lost Wrath.
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I'd have to agree with you.
All right, and
but I would also add Kylo into that mix because, again, Kylo is, Zeta is fantastic.
Let's give the next question to Cheeky Cutie.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, we just lost Cheeky Cutie.
All right, this one. Fresh in the Discord. Current squad is Wiggs, Biston, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, and Boba. No Zeta. I'm looking at replacing Biston and Scarif Rebel Pathfinder with Chase. Should I replace my well-geared Boba with Darth Nihilus or R2?
Oh God.
Think about them apples.
Go ahead, Tiki.
I don't know.
Okay. I'll comment on this one. Darth Nihilus is, period, the best addition to any arena team, bar none. Now, again,
you're supposed to
end
the sentence with the period.
Even if you have them 3-starred, if you have enough tanks, cleansers, healers in your team, and just have Nihilus as your damage dealer, you're going to win. That's just the way it works right now. Because, again, his Annihilate is not based on anything other than the fact that he just exists. So even 3-star, he's very viable as long as you can protect him. So I would say by far, when it comes to arena teams, Nihilus is the first person I would add to any team because he fits in so well. And the rest can add benefits, but they're not going to do the difference of what Nihilus can do with his Annihilate. Because, again, we're dealing with heavy defense teams with either a lot of General Kenobis, or you have a lot of base teams, or Royal Guard, whoever the tanks are, or even Short Trooper. You're going to be able to take them down every few turns, and nobody else in the game can do that.
Now, who else was on the team? You're talking about. So you said he wanted to get rid of Scarif Rebel Pathfinder and Biston, and he wanted to put
the question
in.
Was R2 or Darth Nihilus, and again,
right,
there's no.
Right now, he's running. He's running
the leader
Wiggs,
of the squad.
I'm assuming Wedge, Wiggs, Biston, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, and Boba Fett, and he's replaced
All right. Do we have audio back? Yes, we do. Welcome back, everybody.
Maybe they won't
Hey,
tell us
hey.
and wait to hear what we say.
Where did we get cut off? Right at that
When
really
I-
interesting part.
When I was waxing eloquent about Nihilus, I guess. But, you know,
About
all I
this
was saying
Nihilus guy. Who
is
cares about Nihilus? It's all about R2 now.
if you protect Nihilus, you will win in the arena. If you, R2, and again, I run R2 in my arena. He's fantastic. But I run R2 with Chase and also Nihilus and with a Rex lead. And,
So what
again,
you're
all the
saying
combination.
is, if I put an EWAR and put Nihilus on it, it would rock and roll?
If you convert it, but Ewoks can't do that. So no.
You should test it first, Talon, and let us know.
Listen to what I said. I said if you can protect Nihilus, you will win. So again, with the WED coming back, or people hitting me up with questions about that, I actually ran I ran a test for like 2 hours yesterday with WED and various other Rebel teams or builds with that. And again, I lost to every team in my top arena that just had Nihilus. I was very effective against Jedis, but I could not beat anybody with a Dark Nihilus team because the team didn't have enough damage and or ability to get through the taunts and the heals with Shinobi, other Chase teams with their Dark Nihilus on their team. And it was just a matter of time before Dark Nihilus, he actually got 3 annihilates on every battle that I fought with, eventually with R2. So again, when it comes to the choice of do I do R2 or do I do Dark Nihilus, Dark Nihilus will make you win. R2 is a great utility and he has a lot of fun stuff that you can add to your toolkit. But when it comes to winning, Dark Nihilus, unfortunately, is to me the best person to add to any arena build.
Yeah, but Darth Nihilus lights you on fire.
No, he does not light on fire, which is, one of his shortcomings, but he still will one-shot kill you every few turns, which is where he makes it up at.
To summarize, Eric's level of both of them. Just get them both red and just kind of play with it, I guess. I mean, you're gonna get value.
Pick out.
Question.
All right.
So Omega says, let's go.
So
This
Mega's
one's for
question
you,
is
Omega.
Yes, it is. This next question is asked for. This one actually is a good one for Mega. All right, B Gray 0285 asks, to solo the Rancor, who is a suggestion for someone other than Zeta Sidious?
I subbed out mine
Darth
for
Nihilus.
Tusken Chum.
For the Rancor?
Yep.
I would say Phasma.
You put in Phasma?
I use Phasma and Sidious.
Yeah, I use both of them, but if you're not using Phasma, use Phasma. Or any other Empire character. I mean, I've had even success with Tarkin. Any other Empire character, really.
Savage.
Yeah, I'm not sure how those Sith do. Palpatine works too.
All right. Since somebody mentioned Sith, this question just came in just a few minutes ago from Jonathan Rurmauser. Sorry, man. Who would you guys say is the worst Sith in the game?
the worst Sith in the game? Man, that's
I guess
tough.
if you were to build a Sith team, what Sith would you neglect?
Probably Sid.
Who? Oh, Sidious.
What'd you say, keyboard?
Sid.
Sid?
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't run Sith, but
I'll just say the one that I run the least is Palpatine.
No, yeah.
Really?
All the Sith are pretty good right now, so I mean, it's kind of a bad question.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard at this point because
They're all pretty good.
They're all solid in their own. But if I had one to get rid of, it would be Palpatine.
All right. So, general consensus is Palpatine. Moving on to the next question. Now it's going to wrap up the questions I have. I don't see any more in the chats. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for getting in their submissions. Hope we help.
Hashtag IOTA Zerg Party.
Thanks for making it.
Hashtag Empress Cheeky.
If you guys have more questions, check out ALLIDNCE.com. There's a link to our Discord in there. You can join the party. Mega, mute your mic. So just join us over on the Discord. We'll all be over there hanging out for probably at least a half hour or so. I want to thank everybody for watching the stream. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Yeah, as we're going, a shout out and congratulations to the Alliance Pie Sky Strike and to Alliance Unicorns, who both completed their first heroic AATs this week. Good job.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Welcome to the party. All right, anybody else?
Nope. I'm gonna love them.
You told me to mute my mic.
No more bets.
All right, yeah, we're just the audio's messing up. So get on out of here. We'll see you guys on Discord.
Goodbye.
You guys in Discord.